Okay, well, good morning. Welcome to Expressive Art Virtual Edition. Thanks for coming to see us. All right, I am going to pull this up. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so this picture is going to be what we're trying to emulate today. We are going to make a grove of birch trees. So today we're going to be drawing, well, creating this grove of birch trees. So we have, you should have gotten your supply kit. You should have oil pastels. You should have strips of paper that are going to be our trunks. Some of you have shown me your giant mega oil pastel kits you have of your own. So please feel free to use whatever you have at home. And then you should have some pre-cut leaves as well that Emily was so gracious to do for us.
Actually, it was Mr. Bruce that helped cut these.
Oh, Mr. Bruce helped, she said. So let's talk about this project a bit before we begin. So what do you notice in this picture? Okay, I see Caleb's hand. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
That it's for fall? Like it has.
Ooh, and it's fall. Yes, it's autumn. Yes, thank you so much. That is so true. And you probably noticed that based on the colors of the leaves, right?
Yeah.
Very good. And also, what do we notice on the ground? Yeah, leaves. Good. Good. So leaves are on the ground. They're kind of in transition, falling. You can see them kind of dotting the trunks in the sky. And so, yes, it's showing us fall. Very good. Thank you. What else do we notice? Does anybody else have any ideas? Oh, I see Rebecca's hand. Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I see trees and stuff.
You see trees, yes. Uh-huh. What are the trunks made of?
Huh?
What are the trunks made of?
Wood. Oh no. It kind of looks like newspapers to me.
Yeah, so you should have in your supply kit little strips of paper, and that's going to be our trunk today. It's going to have words on them.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you for sharing. And does anybody notice anything else? What do we see? Somebody I haven't called on yet. Brianna, yes, you can share. You can share.
It's a birch tree forest.
It's a birch tree forest. Very good. So you were able to notice that it was a birch tree. Funny you should mention that. I have an actual picture here of a grove of birch trees. So this is what they really look like. And so this artist kind of is depicting their same pattern in an artistic way by choosing, I see music notes on some of these. I see words on some. This one kind of looks like it has drawings. So, yeah, but just it gives it a texture and a pattern that you were able to notice was a birch tree. So that was pretty cool. Okay, does our picture look two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Hold up a 2 if you think two-dimensional. Hold up a 3 if you think three-dimensional. I see lots of 2s actually, which it is two-dimensional, but I do see 1, 3, and the answer is 3. It kind of looks three-dimensional just because they've staggered these trunks to make it look as if this path is moving toward the back of the paper. They've kind of chosen techniques to make it look three-dimensional, even though we know it's definitely two-dimensional, right? It's a piece of paper with other paper on top. But the way they staggered these trunks, some are closer, some are farther. I want you to notice that the ones up close are thicker than the ones in the back. You can kind of see this line here, and this line here, and this line here. They're kind of like faint outlines of trunks. Okay, so when you're working with, here, let's see. So I want you to think of something called your field of view. Has anybody heard that term before? Field of view, some of you. Okay. So that means everything you can see at once when you don't move your head. So if you keep your head still and you're looking straight, you can move your eyes, but not your head. That's your field of view. Okay. So when things are closer to you, they take up more of your field of view. So right now your computer or your tablet or whatever you're looking at this screen on probably looks pretty big, and maybe something further away looks much smaller than it actually is because it is further away in your field of view. It takes up less of your vision. Okay, so I want you to look at this picture. We have daffodils in the front on this grass here, and then we have, I believe that's Buckingham Palace, but I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. So we're going to call that, we're just going to say it's a building and a clock tower, okay? So right in this picture, if you were to take a ruler and you were to measure these flowers, those daffodils from the stem to the top of the flower, and then measure the height of that castle building in the background, the flowers might be bigger than the building. But we know that that is not true, right? Those flowers are not actually bigger than that building. It's just way closer in our field of view, right? The building is far away, so it looks much smaller. Okay, so we're going to be employing that technique when we are doing our birch tree growth. So that's called perspective, when we can kind of manipulate. When we draw things, we are drawing them in relation to each other. Okay, if we put all of our birch tree trunks in a line, that wouldn't really give it the illusion of depth, right? It wouldn't look as if things are further away. Okay? So I want you to also notice that the ones, I think I mentioned this, the ones in the foreground here, more in the front of us, closer to our paper, closer to us, are thicker, and the ones in the background are much thinner and skinnier, okay? Even though most of these trees are probably about the same size in this grove. You can really notice it here. These are probably mostly the same size, but way back, they can get really, really skinny. Okay. So same goes for this path. Notice that this path of stones might be about the same width, but it looks as if it's receding or moving away because of the way this artist drew the stones. Also, what do we notice about light in this picture? Can somebody tell me? Specifically on the path. Let's see, is that Zach, maybe? Okay, yes, go ahead. You can unmute and then.
It gets skinnier and darker as you go down.
Good. It gets skinnier and darker. Why do you think it gets darker?
Because of the shading that they did, because they were trying to enact the tree shading the path.
Very good. So in a real forest, thank you for sharing. In a real forest, as you move into a forest, there's probably more cover and more trees and more shade, right? So that path is getting darker as if there are trees shading it. Very good. Okay, so I want you to think about that when you're choosing your colors to draw your path and your birch grove. So speaking of colors, notice in this sample picture, warm and cool colors. Can anyone tell me the difference between warm and cool colors?
Warm colors are like red, pink, orange, and then cold colors are like blue and green and gray.
Good, good. So in this picture, our path, would that be a warm colored path or a cool colored path?
Cool.
The path?
Meant warm.
Warm, yes, yes. Warm, good. We see reds and oranges and browns, and it's this warm color, right? And then our sky, our background, and our actual ground, like grass, are cool colors, except for the leaves falling, right? Which are kind of a blend of both. So I want you to think about that when you do your picture. I want you to either do a warm colored path and a cool colored background, or if you wanted to do, say, a warm sunset and a brown dirt, you could do a cool gray, blue colored path. But I kind of want them to be opposite because in art, it's really good to have contrast of colors, okay? So let's try to do that. I also want you to notice, there's only a couple more things before we start. I want you to notice the texture in this picture. What do I mean by texture? Grayson.
Means you see like the differences of the shapes and how one is the sky and like they're not all the same thing. They don't all go together.
Good, good. Texture is a really good way to make things look realistic, right? If everything were just a flat one color, if I colored that grass just one color green and I left it, and I colored the sky one color blue, and I colored the path one color brown, that wouldn't really look like an actual path or forest that you might go out and see, right? That would look very drawn. So this artist has added leaves to the grass to make it look textured. She even kind of, I don't know if you can see the sky. She used a technique where she made little swirls in the sky. With oil pastels, you can do that with a paper clip. If you want to kind of scratch a design into the sky, you can do that. Her stones, she used lots of overlapping colors and kind of blended them together. So there are lots of techniques like this. You can use light pressure. You can push really hard and not blend. You can blend with light pressure or heavy pressure. You can shadow with a darker color or highlight with white. Here's our warm colors. They made orange. They made green here. I guess that's a blend of warm and cool. But do you see this paper clip texture here where they made swirls or they cut lines through this? That's kind of what she did with the sky. Okay. Now, one last thing. Since we are 3rd through 5th graders, I wanted to add one more element since this is expressive art. As you are drawing, or maybe even right before, you can decide. I want you to think about what this picture might symbolize for you. When you look at this picture, what do you think it might mean for your life? So I want us to think about that, and then on our trunks, maybe a couple of them, if you want, I thought we could hand letter a word or a phrase so that your drawing was specifically for you for this time. Because this year, we can all attest, this year is weird, right? This is a weird year. I would way rather you be sitting in this class with me at these tables, but we can't do that quite yet. So use this as a chance to kind of think about what this picture might mean for you. So I wrote up a couple of things that I might choose to put on my drawing. So I put look for light. Since we talked about it kind of gets darker in there, I thought look for light was a good one to kind of speak to me in this time. Or beauty surrounds you. I love autumn, and with all those leaves falling, I feel like I would just kind of be in awe of all the beauty around me, right? Or wild but good. Those were my 3 phrases that I felt maybe I could choose for this picture for me. Okay, so you can choose if you would like to letter first, because I'm thinking it might be kind of hard to hand letter over glue is my only thing. So I would like to do it last, but I'm thinking once it's glued down on top of oil pastel, it might be kind of hard. Like it might rip the paper, and I don't want to do that. That would be my only thing. Okay, Emily is going to do a quick little test. She made a version of this herself a couple days ago, and she's going to test her lettering on top of her branches.
It seems okay.
She says it seems okay. So maybe we'll try to do it after. We'll get to the art real quick, and then we can letter at the end.
A pen or a marker or a colored pencil even.
Okay, so a pen or a marker or a colored pencil would work great for your trunks. These were not in the supply kit. This was something we added last minute. So I have a Sharpie that I'm probably going to use, but we can get to getting on our birch grove, okay? Okay.
I wish I did.
Oh, can you see Emily's screen here? Let me stop sharing real quick and see if you can see Emily's screen.
It's muted. It's not the word change.
There we go. She added the word change. I'm assuming because it's fall and there's leaves, there's lots of change this year. I see Mia hand. I cannot unmute you. If you unmute yourself, you can ask your question or add your comment.
Can't see it. I just had a question. Do I have to add the path?
Ooh, great question. You know, art is a very personal thing, so I'm not going to make you add anything you don't feel like adding. So if you want to just do a grove without a path, you don't need to have a path. Okay? Caleb, I see your hand. Do you have a question or a comment?
I didn't see the other portrait.
You couldn't see Emily's picture? Okay, hold on. She's just a little, it's not a screen share, it's one of the little grids. Do you see her down here? She's holding up a picture with some trees. Oh yeah, there, he found you. So she added the word change second from the right in a pretty cursive next to that red leaf. Okay, so we're going to try to do that at the end and we're going to see how it works. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to my document camera and kind of guide you through this lesson. Are we ready to start? Everybody have their supplies in front of them? Yeah? So we're going to start with our picture. Again, this is art, so I'm not going to make you do anything, but we're going to start with our picture in a portrait setting, not a landscape. Okay, so you want it tall up and down that way. Okay, and then let me find my little pastels that I moved. Okay, so we are going to start with our horizon line. Okay, so I would pick whatever color you think you're going to color your ground. I would choose that color. So your horizon line is where the sky meets the earth, right? So it can be straight or it can be a bit hilly. Like this picture, you can see the path curves between these two slight hills. Oh, well, you can't see that actually. Okay, so I'm going to do maybe toward the, maybe kind of in the middle, but a little bit toward the bottom. So I'm going to draw mine with kind of a little bit of a hill to it. Can you see that line?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, and once you have your horizon line, if you would be so good as to show it to me. Oh, I see either Eli or Asa's hand. Go ahead and unmute. Thank you.
Should we do like the horizon part about the middle of the page or about?
So yes, you can choose. I would suggest the middle or a little below. I chose to do it a little below. Good question. Thank you.
Look, I chose below.
Okay, let me see your horizon line once you have it. Hold it up to the camera for me. Ooh, lovely. Caleb, thank you. Ooh, thank you, Rebecca and Brianna and Eli and Zach and Berlin, Eleanor, Asa, and okay, that's most of us. Okay. So now we are going to pick a spot where we want our path to end up. So mine is going to be between these two hills, and I'm just going to mark it really lightly with a tiny dot. I don't want it to be super visible. I don't want to see a giant dot in my paper, but I do want to remember where it's going to go. Okay, so then I want you to pick out what color, if you are doing a path, I want you to pick out what color you're going to do your path, or at least one of the colors. And then we are going to draw both sides of our path, and they're both going to come from this point that you drew. So remember that it gets narrower toward the back. So, and if you want it to curve, go ahead and make a curved line. I think mine's going to curve a little bit like the picture we saw. So I'm going to curve mine like this. And then I'm going to take my other side and I'm going to curve it out like this. Okay, so then we have the beginnings of a path. Yes, go ahead and ask your question.
Do we do it all the way to the bottom of the paper?
All the way to the bottom. I know you can't quite see the bottom of my paper, but yes, all the way to the bottom. Good question. Ooh, Brianna, lovely. Thank you. Go ahead and show me your paths once you have them. Ooh, Rebecca, love it. Emily, great job. Good job, Grayson and Berlin, Eleanor. Oh, and Caleb and Eleanor, yes, love it. And Eli and Asa, Mia, and Ellie. Good job, guys. Okay. So now we have our horizon line and we have the edges of our path, right? Okay. Are we trusting the glue stick will work? So I want to give you a little warning that if we glue our paper trees to our page after we put oil pastels down, sometimes the glue can be cranky. Okay, just as a fair warning. So if you're very afraid of that happening, you may glue your birch trees first. Okay, I think I'm going to color first and I'm going to trust my glue and we'll see how it happens. Brianna, I see your hand. Do you have a comment or a question?
So, what if you put the trees first, and then once you try coloring in the grass and sky, what if you get those colors on the tree on accident?
So Emily and I talked about that because that's a real possibility because oil pastels, as you can see, they're not very pointed and, you know, amazingly accurate. So we did talk about maybe then you could take your leaves and wherever you nicked your tree, you could glue a leaf on top of it. That's honestly, Brianna, why I'm going to trust that the glue stick will work because I want to have my sky and grass underneath fully. So you can make the decision though as artists. Mia, you have a question or comment?
So I had an idea. If I'm going to glue them down first, and then
Okay.
if I instead of me making the mistake of getting it on here, I could take another paper and cover them up.
Oh,
And
I see.
get it on
So
there.
you're saying if you had your birch tree and you're coloring with your oil pastel, you would take a piece of paper to cover it and then color like that so this one could get dirty. That's really smart. That's really smart. So I'm going to allow you guys to choose. I think I'm going to color my sky and my ground first. Okay? Uh-oh. Somebody's trying to come in. Lily's. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to do a blue sky. Oh, yes, Eleanor. Go ahead and ask your question. You're going to have to unmute yourself, though, sweet girl. Also, if you guys have a question, make sure you're not talking over each other, but feel free to unmute and ask me since I'm not looking. Go ahead, Eleanor.
Can we do the path as well?
Yes, yes. So go ahead and do your ground, your path, and your sky. Okay, let's see here.
You can use mine if you want.
Also, remember that you can blend oil pastels with a paper towel, with your finger. Yeah. Let's see. Should we put it close? Okay, we're gonna play some some music while we do this. Can you guys hear that music kind of? Not really. Yes? Okay, great. Thank you.
Music.
Also, this is art class. Don't be afraid to get messy.
Sorry, we can't see the top of yours. We're working.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Actually. There we go. So notice I colored this darker blue. I know some of you might have one blue, some of you might have two greens, some of you might have two browns. Just use whatever you have. I'm kind of overlapping two colors and then trying to blend them together to make the sky look like have a little more dimension to it. Rebecca, did you have a question? Okay, go ahead.
I'm not so good of an artist, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just wanted to show you. Is this good?
That looks great. Yeah, that looks great. Just feel free to keep blending, keep rubbing your colors together. Just bring it all the way down to the horizon line. That's where I'm headed. Yep. And just I keep rubbing my finger looks like this. I keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing to blend. Yep, exactly. Good job. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. My oil pastel had a little bit of pink in it.
You put a tree over that.
Yep. Put a tree right over that. Okay, let's see. And remember, a lot of this will be covered up by trees and leaves. So any imperfections, you're like, oh, I wish that didn't look like that. We can strategically place trees or leaves. Also, another thing, I don't know if you are noticing the way I'm moving my hand, but a lot of times with coloring something like with oil pastels or even crayons or colored pencils where you can see where the lines go, I'm kind of trying to stay going one direction to make it look like the field or the meadow isn't choppy. So I might add like grass later, but see how when I add that little piece of grass, it's really noticeable because all of my other strokes were one direction. Just something to think about. Okay, everybody doing okay? Can you show me your papers just because? Usually I can walk around and I can't walk around. Ooh, these are looking so lovely. Ooh, and I like how different people started with different spots. Lovely. Thanks, guys. Ooh, and Grayson, I think you might be our only sunset sunrise. It looks really great. Oh, Emily did too. Yay. Great job, guys. And if you guys want to periodically check, like take a piece of paper and just see what your tree looks like against it. And if you're like, oh, I want to change that a little bit, you can do that too. Are any of you done with your background yet or not quite? Okay, good. I'm not quite. You are? One of you? Ooh, those look so good, you guys. Nicely done. Ooh, I love that with the pink in the sky. That looks so good. Okay, let me get my path going here and then I can, let's see. So I might add, what do I want to do? I might add some black outlines to my path.
Movie with this song in it.
Huh?
Movie with this song in it.
Oh, yeah? I think from Inside Out. I have this. Oh, it looks so good.
Maybe sister saying koa by us.
Okay, has anyone started? I know, Mia, you said you were doing it first. Has anyone started gluing their trees? Not quite. Mia, can I see what you have going so far? Do you want to share?
Let me move my paper.
Okay. Ooh, nice. I'm excited. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yes, Rebecca. Oh, you have to unmute yourself, sorry.
I'm right here. Are you supposed to fill in the rock things?
Yes,
Like
so
the-
make your path, yes, however you would like. I kind of went off, I know that looks maybe kind of grainy, but I tried to kind of emulate that same path. So I did a black outline, I added brown to all of them, and then I kind of peppered in the warm colors like red and orange and yellow, and then I took my finger and I blended from the back to the front so it would be dark down to light.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, you want to hold up what you have so I can see? Wish I could zoom out my little document scanner. Ooh, I love that sunset one. Yes, yeah, that rich blue. That looks lovely, Brianna and Eli and Asa, Ellie and Zach. Ooh, Berlin, that blue. Looks so good. And Lily, good job. I love these, Caleb. Nice. I love your warm, cool, you guys. Asa, very good. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to start. Ooh, those look so nice. And then I'm going to start gluing. Are any of you ready to glue? No. Okay, couple more minutes. Yes, couple of you? Okay, I'm going to give it to 10:17. See if you can add any more detail to your background or any more, fill it in, clean up the lines. Ooh, Rebecca, that looks great, that path. I love it. Let's see, I might add. Okay, about 30 more seconds. And you guys can obviously keep going with your coloring, but I'm going to start the tutorial of pasting. Those of you who are finished, maybe really think about what phrases or words you would like to put onto your trunks. I think I do want to do that first. Maybe we can do it after. Ooh, yes, Eleanor, that looks great. Very warm, cool contrast. Very good. Lily? Okay. Okay, now we're going to start with pasting. I think I don't know how to make this. I might set this on something. Thank you. Okay, there, we made that, yes. We put this a little higher so you can hopefully see more of the whole page. Okay, so you guys should have, I'm gonna move this really quick. You guys should have varying thickness of little paper trees, right? You have some thick, some thin. Okay, and you might need, let's see, as we are going to paste these, we want our thicker trees in the foreground. So find your thickest ones and pick a spot to put them that is relatively close. And I'm just setting them here. I'm not gluing them yet because I want to see what it looks like before I actually glue. And then your skinnier trees, we're going to want toward the back. You may need to cut off the tops. I think I'm going to have to do so. And you don't have to use all of them in your kit. Feel free to add as many or as little as you would like. Let's see. So the way we show that it's closer is that the bottom, let me see if I can scooch this. The bottom of the trunk is lower, right? So see how my skinny ones are more in the middle of the paper and my thicker ones are more toward me? Yes, Rebecca.
My cat is trying to eat the newspapers, and I am. She will not get off the table.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do your best to protect it.
I am.
Okay. Okay, once you have an arrangement that you feel you like, I would start gluing. I'm going to have to, you see how mine are sticking off the top here? I'm going to have to cut or rip those off.
You rip them because if we have leaves.
Oh yeah, so Emily made a good point. Don't feel like you have to cut them in a perfect line. You can rip them because we're going to add leaves over the top. Mia, I love yours. Can you show us, can you lift it up higher and show us the bottom of your paper?
Oh, excellent.
Can you, yeah, and scooch it toward us? So see how her thick trunks are more in the foreground and she put her skinnier ones toward the middle of the paper? That's perfect. That looks really lovely. Okay. Also, depending on how you want it, I have some of my papers upside down. I have some of them right side up. Just make sure if that's something that's going to bother you later that you pay attention to now. And then I think I'm going to start gluing.
This could possibly take me a year or two. Not really, but
Looks really
a long time.
Okay, here we go. I would be generous with your glue stick. Also, most of you know this, but your purple glue stick will dry clear. It won't be purple on your paper. Seems to be sticking well.
This one's the Star Wars.
Mhm. Also, don't be afraid to overlap your trees because this is a grove of trees and they are all over the place.
Mia's got a question.
Oh, yes, Mia.
Could this be frameable? Could I frame
What?
it? Could this be framed, do you think?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. Say it one more time.
Do you think this could fit in a frame?
Oh, there are all kinds of sizes of frames. So yes, I bet you it could.
Yeah.
It would be a lovely hanging picture, I think. Also, I'm finding I recommend ripping the tip off of your tree before gluing it because I just tried to rip it off while it was glued and I'm having to glue it again. Just a little pro tip. Okay, when everybody's ready, I would love to see what you have so far. Ooh, looking good, Caleb. Oh, Grayson, I love it. Berlin, very nice. These are looking lovely, my friends. Ooh, Emily's is like a morning song. Lovely. Brianna looks good. I love your little winding path to the left. Ooh, and we got some leaves being added over there. Love it. Yes, when you feel ready, go ahead and start adding the leaves to your trees. And if you start adding leaves and you're like, oh, I wish I had another trunk, add another one.
Come too.
Also, think about what leaves you want to see more than the others. I'm adding red first because I would rather see yellow on top. So just keep that in mind that whatever you glue last will probably be most visible. So we're going to overlap as we go.
If they want to add the leaves with some of the pastels too, to give it more texture.
Yes, so Emily made one a couple days ago, and she said if you would like to add leaves with pastels too, it gives it more texture and it can fill in spots where you don't have leaves. Oh my goodness, we have 2 minutes left. Just realized we have 2 minutes left, you guys.
Not even close to being done. I think I'm gonna have to restart.
I might have to continue after class is over as well. Mm-hmm.
Me and Ella yesterday, we did a craft and we used leaves and we put them under paper and then drawed over them and it showed that shape of the leaf.
Ooh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Like all the veins too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if I like that.
Okay, does anybody, class is officially over, but does anybody want to show me what they have so far before we go? Oh my goodness, these are so lovely.
I chose to restart.
You did? Oh, Mia. Oh, I love them. They're beautiful. Okay, can everybody hold up what they have? And I'm going to take a picture because these are just too beautiful. Okay. Here we go. Hold up what you have. Okay, thanks. Okay, and if you really want to, you can always email these to me or to Emily, and we would love to see pictures of these completed.
Me too.
We would love that. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us, and it was so good to see your faces and just create a little bit together. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.